everyone, Moogie here, and today we're going to be talking about the new UMP9 on the market, sold by Traxxon Armaments. These are going to be built by Flandre herself. So, if you happen to find any hairs in your packaging, they're hers, not mine. Similar to the UMP45 clones that we've featured here before, what we have here are the new UMP9 clones, built on new production parts that replicate the original H&K parts one-to-one. In fact, almost all the parts are fully interchangeable between the original and this clone. The production models will of course be two-position semi-auto sporters. However, if you would like to run your UMP super safe, I know of at least 2 projects looking to make that a reality. Considering how well our registered UMP9 runs with a safety seer, I'm sure people are going to love them with the super safety. The UMP was designed in the 1900s.
1900s? Did I miswrite that or you didn't even spell that? Holy shit, 1900s? God damn.
Browning wishing he had a UMP.
The UMP was designed in the 1990s as a successor for H&K's popular MP5, specifically targeted at US military and law enforcement. So, as such, it was specifically designed around 45 ACP and 40 S&W. As at the time, 9mm had fallen out of favor in law enforcement use. However, H&K did eventually develop a 9mm version that would be adopted by various nations. And ironically, H&K now only offers the UMP9. The UMP follows the same design patterns as most of H&K's other modern firearms, using polymer where they could in order to save weight. In order to simplify the UMP, H&K also switched to a direct blowback system with heavier bolts, instead of the roller delayed blowback system that was popular in previous H&K products. This makes the UMP very reliable and controllable, and is very comparable to other submachine guns in its class, all while being significantly lighter. For example, even with the rails installed, the UMP9 is a pound lighter than the MP5. However, the roller-delayed blowback system of the MP5 makes shooting this firearm an absolute joy, and it's still my favorite of the conventional submachine guns, despite its heavier weight. Speaking of weight, another subgun that the UMP commonly competes with is the MP9, or the civilian TP9. And this little thing clocks in at a full pound lighter than the UMP9. Although, unlike the UMP, it's more like the Uzi or the MAC-10 with the pistol-style layout, where the magazine is inserted into the grip. This, combined with the shorter barrel, gives the firearm a shorter overall length, but it also gives a little more felt recoil, and the gun tends to jump around a bit more. This is especially true on the MP9 in full fun mode, as it is so quick, it can be more difficult to control when shooting fast. And I'm not particularly a fan of progressive triggers in general. However, I know others may disagree. I know for one that Flandre actually loves the MP9 and its progressive trigger. I feel like for most of these subguns, people want them for different reasons, and they appeal to different markets and different people. And some guns are just hard to compare to others due to their uniqueness or caliber. For example, the KP9, which is a clone of the Russian Vityaz, which is a 9mm AK, but it's now unobtainium. And others like the Chris Vector or the P90 can almost be seen in a class of their own, let alone machine pistols or pistol conversions. For example, the rate of fire on a converted Glock 17 in a USC chassis makes the MP9 look slow.
No thumb safety, that's the first code rule. On this Glock, my finger is the only tool. Trigger sitting ready, but my mind stay cool. I don't flinch, I don't jerk, I don't move like you. Free for fun, I just end your life. But tonight I'm bored, so I flip that plan. Rack and slide back, put a switch in my hand. Little plate on the tail, turn a pop to a fan. Not a Glock 17, not a tool, that's a band. Whole mag loud like it's clapping on command. Trigger touch once, then it never wanna stop. Here, brr, when it cough, that's a system pop.
But it is worth talking about how the UMP45 compares to the UMP9, as they are the same platform, and the UMP9, without a doubt, has a lot less felt recoil in comparison to the 45. The UMP45 definitely gives you a nice punch in the shoulder with every shot, especially with that heavy direct blowback bolt, and the UMP9 is much smoother in comparison. Now for all my SOT guys and gals out there, and yes, us gals do exist in this market, I will have to say, the UMP is without a doubt one that you'll have a fun time converting if you're looking for something to form too. And that's the UMP9. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'd really appreciate it if you'd like, comment, subscribe, and all of that stuff. And I will see you again next time. Sayonara. I'm gold!